If you anything like me, you trying to feed them kids without breaking the bank. And this is what I'm doing. I keep russet potatoes in the house. We're going to use some of that Jimmy Dean's sausage. We're also going to be using some milk and some flour to make like a little roux/gravy. I'm going to be using black pepper, some chicken bouillon, because you know that goes a long way when you're trying to season up some food. And then I also have some all-purpose seasoning. I have some of my little Penzi spices, what I'm going to use. Just a little rosemary and garlic, all that good stuff. And then I'm also going to be using some butter, 2 eggs, a small onion, and some shredded Mexican cheese, which is not my preference. It's just what I have on hand. If you got mozzarella or cheddar, or even provolone, baby, use it, because it's going to taste only so much better. So what I'm trying to do tonight is make a potato casserole that is in between sausage and gravy, you know, the little white sausage and gravy with the biscuits / Alfredo type of thing. So I'm going to start off by peeling my potatoes. Originally, I was going to use about 5, but I'm like, you know what? I'm not trying to make breakfast for the next few days either. So I went ahead and did about 8 of the russet potatoes. I got those peeled and washed. Now, I am cooking dinner really late, so I'm doing this as quickly as possible. I'm going to go ahead and use my French fry cutter to slice my potatoes for me nice and small. And then I'm going to go in behind that and use my knife to dice them up. I'm going to boil my potatoes on the stove. If I had more time, I will usually bake them. But today, I'm going to boil them, cut them up small so they can cook a lot faster. And I got to save all the time that I can because these kids have to get in bed early tonight. Okay, so we got these millions and billions of fries all sliced up and diced up, and I'm just going to go ahead and throw them in my skillet. I could have used a bigger pan, but I didn't. This is one of my favorite pans. Needless to say, I can put it on top of the stove or in the oven. It's just versatile and works best for me. All right, so now we need to go ahead and fill these potatoes up with water and get them on the stove so they can get to the boiling. Now we're going to go ahead and dice up our veggies. I know I only showed you guys 1 small onion, but I end up dicing up this onion as well as some green pepper to throw in this dish to give it more flavor. Plus, I didn't want my green onion going bad. So if you have any vegetables laying around, grab them veggies, chop them up. Let's put them in this dish.
And something. Get warm.
This next part is optional. I'm adding milk and eggs to this dish. I'm just beating up the eggs because I'm going to scramble them and set them off to the side for later. If you don't want to use eggs, you don't want to. Me and my family just love eggs, and we put eggs in just about almost everything, unless it's fried chicken. We still use eggs for fried chicken because we're going to batter it and dip it. My potatoes are still cooking on the stove, so now I'm going to take my ground sausage and I'm going to start cooking that up and getting it nice and brown. Now, if you guys don't want to use sausage, you don't have to. For this dish, you can use chicken, you can use bacon, you can use whatever kind of meat that you like. You can use the kielbasa sausage or Kaneka sausage. You can use whatever meat you want in this dish. You can add bacon if you want to. If you're a vegetarian, you can add any type of beans or vegetables to this dish. You do not have to use sausage. That's why I like using potatoes, because you can make it very versatile. I don't know if you caught that, but I did have my onions and bell peppers sauteing on the stove. I am going to drain my potatoes and transfer them over to a baking dish. And I'm going to go ahead and add my ground Italian sausage and put that on top as well. Now, my onion and bell pepper is done, so I'm going to go ahead and get this mixed all in. Now, if you have the time, I suggest that you put this back on the stove, mix the potatoes and the bell peppers together and let it just simmer together so all the flavors will come in together. If you don't have time like me, then let's just keep it moving. Now, my videos really aren't made for you to follow to a T. It is meant for you to season it up and use your own seasonings how you like it according to your taste buds. So this is where I'm just adding my all-purpose seasoning. I'm using some of my herbs that I have. And then I'm going to go ahead and transfer this to a different pan because it's just way too small for what I'm trying to do. All right, I got to catch y'all up. I end up burning my butter, and that is okay. So I went ahead and added milk to my butter, which is extremely toasted. And I just threw in another stick of butter. And once that started melting, I took my flour and some water and made like a little slurry. And I'm just pouring that in there to thicken it up. Now you can go ahead and make your gravy with the oil and grabbing your flour and slowly adding your water or your milk. But I just did the slurry because it's a lot quicker for me. And then it's getting nice and thick. I'm going to go ahead and start seasoning it up. Don't be afraid to play around with your roux, your gravy, whatever you want to call it. Season it up however you think you will like it. And go ahead and add as much milk or water as you feel is necessary. I wanted this white colored gravy because remember I said I wanted in between an Alfredo sauce and also like a sausage and gravy type of sauce. So that's why I used milk. And then this is why I said cheddar is better. Even Parmesan cheese or provolone cheese would be best in this dish, but I only have my Mexican cheese, so I'm just putting a little bit in this dish to give it that little cheesy flavor. Make sure you go ahead and taste it to make sure it's to your liking. Mine was just perfect for us, so I went ahead and took the rest of this gravy mixture and poured it into my 9x13 baking dish. I did not forget about those eggs. So we got those scrambled, and I'm just putting the eggs on top and mixing it in with the gravy mixture because we are getting ready to throw this in the broiler. Now, the cheese, to me, is what takes this dish to another level. So you get your cheese and you start sprinkling on top. If you don't like cheese, then leave it out. This is where you get to do what you like. So I'm pulling this out of the broiler. And it was only in there for about 5 to 7 minutes. The cheese got nice and golden on top. Giving it that nice golden brown look makes the dish look even more appetizing. Now you can pair this with some cornbread, with some biscuits, some dinner rolls. If you want, you can make you a side of broccoli or vegetables. Or it's just enough exactly how it is. You don't have to add anything else. But some families like to have their bread with every meal. Go ahead and get your little bread and butter or your little biscuits. Tonight, me and my family ate this just how it is. My kids came back for second and thirds. And yes, we did have enough for the next morning. My son took some for school. My daughter ate some before school. And my toddlers came home and had some after school. So this is a way to stretch those dollars. Now go feed your family.